How to stay centered when the world tries to break you. The world will try to break you. This is how you become unshakable. I want you to imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a storm. Not the kind with wind and rain, but a storm of life. A betrayal by someone you trusted. A sudden loss. The weight of a world that doesn't seem to care whether you make it or not. Everyone's moving fast. Judging faster. And somehow, despite everything, you're just supposed to keep going. But here's the wild thing. You can. And not only that, you can thrive in the chaos. You can stay centered. Unshakable. No matter how loud the world screams. No matter how hard it tries to break you. And I know this, because I've lived it. This isn't going to be one of those soft-spoken, generic motivational talks. This is raw. This is real. This is a story that spans lifetimes. Across forgotten mountaintops and mystical temples hidden from time itself. A story that ends with you realizing you've had a spiritual superpower buried deep inside you this whole time. And I'm going to pull it out of you, piece by piece. Now buckle up, because this ride starts at full speed. A few years ago, I found myself deep in the Himalayas, not as some kind of escape, but because I was chasing an answer that no book or podcast had ever given me. I wasn't just lost, I was disconnected. You ever feel like that? Like there's something so powerful inside you, but it's just buried under noise, expectations, fear, the past, the future, a never-ending scroll of other people's highlight reels. I wanted silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of something real. Something that couldn't be broken by politics or heartbreak or failure. And that's when I met her. She didn't have a name. Not one I could pronounce. Anyway, she lived above the clouds. In a cave that had no door. No walls. Just a fire and the wind. And when I found her, she looked straight through me and said, "The world only breaks what hasn't yet awakened to its own center." Let that sink in. I didn't understand it then. Not really. But something in my bones did. She didn't give me answers. Not like we want them. Instead, she gave me challenges. Tasks. Impossible ones. For 7 days, I had to sit by a river and feel everything I'd ever avoided. Every regret. Every guilt. Every betrayal. No distractions. No running. Just me and my pain. And something strange started to happen. The first night, I wept like a child. The second, I got angry. The third, numb. But on the fourth night, as I stared at the water, I saw something I will never forget. My reflection started to melt. Not physically, but spiritually. It was like layers of who I thought I was were dissolving. And underneath it all, I saw something ancient. Me. Not the version trained to please. Not the one pretending to have it all together. But something purer. Still. Eternal. Have you ever met that version of yourself? Because once you do, everything changes. You stop reacting to chaos. You become the calm. Now I want to ask you something. And don't answer quickly. Really feel it. When was the last time you sat with yourself, and didn't try to escape? Because that's where your power lives. In the quiet. In the stillness. Most people are terrified of it. But not you. Not anymore. You're going to become the kind of person who walks into storms and doesn't flinch. Because you've trained your center to hold. Even when the world tries to pull it apart. But let me show you how far this goes. On the 7th day by that river, I was visited by something that wasn't human. I know how this sounds, but I swear to you, it happened. The sky cracked open. Not like lightning, but like a slit in reality. And a voice, not a sound, but a knowing, said this: "You are not here to be safe. You are here to remember." And just like that, I saw visions, past lives, other realms, me, again and again, forgetting who I was, breaking, rebuilding, breaking again, until now. Until this life. The one where I stop forgetting. The one where you stop forgetting. Because here's the truth no one tells you: the world will absolutely try to break you. It will come for your joy, your peace, your identity. It will wrap chains around your mind and tell you those chains are you. But they're not. And here's the plot twist: every time something tries to break you, it's actually life asking, will you wake up this time? So I came back from the Himalayas. Not enlightened, not perfect, but centered. I started testing it. In arguments, in heartbreak, in confusion, in noise. And every time I wanted to react, lash out, run away, numb out, I would remember that river, that voice, that melting reflection, and I would return. And now I'm here, to pass it on to you. Because the world will come for you, but now, you'll be ready. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you in the next part, it's not a metaphor, it's a real, documented supernatural event, and it changed the way I see everything, including death. I died in my dreams and woke up in a place that doesn't exist. The dream wasn't a dream. At least, not in the way we think of dreams. It started like any other night. I'd returned from a brutal day, emotionally heavy, drained. Everything I'd learned in the mountains was being tested in the chaos of city life again. Screaming cars, deadlines, people hurting each other and pretending not to notice. So I meditated before bed, thinking I could just quiet the noise. But that night, I crossed into something else. I remember the moment my body fell asleep, but my mind didn't. I was pulled, gently, like being carried through water, into a realm I've never seen before. It wasn't Earth, not even close. Imagine colors you've never seen, sounds you could feel instead of hear. Everything was vibrating, alive, intelligent. And then I realized, I had no body. I wasn't me anymore. I was awareness, floating, observing. And then I heard a voice, the same one from the river. Welcome back. I panicked. If I was here, was I dead? But the voice soothed me. This is not death. This is where you remember before life. Then I saw it. A massive spiral staircase made of stardust. And on every step, versions of me. Laughing, crying, screaming, meditating, failing, creating. And suddenly, I knew. Every breakdown I've ever had wasn't a mistake. It was a call. To center. To return to that quiet knowing. You see, the world doesn't just try to break you by accident. It's a mirror, revealing where you've forgotten your own wholeness. And in this place, I was shown the truth. Every time I felt like I was breaking, I was actually being sculpted. Not punished. Not abandoned. Transformed. That's when I saw you. Yes. You. The person watching this. And I saw a question floating above your heart. It said, am I enough when everything falls apart? And the answer, beamed like light from the sky, was yes. But not in the way the world says it. Not because you're perfect, but because you're eternal. So I asked the voice, then why does it hurt so much? and it said, "Because you are shedding what you are not." Man, that hit me harder than anything ever has. I woke up sobbing, but not in grief, in recognition. We're not here to avoid the pain. We're here to walk through it with our eyes open, and find the center inside that never leaves us. Because listen, everything in this world can be taken. Your job, your friends, your reputation, your health. But not this. Not your center. And here's the real kicker. You don't find your center by thinking. You remember it by being. So here's what I started doing. And you can try this too. Every time something tried to break me, an insult, a failure, a fear, I would close my eyes, breathe, and silently say, "I am not this storm. I am the I inside it." And it works. Try it. Right now. Seriously. Breathe in deep. Say it with me, "I am not this storm. I am the I inside it." How did that feel? Maybe subtle. But that's how power works. Quiet. Unshakable. Unbreakable. And when you live from that space, something magical starts to happen. People can sense it. You walk into a room, and even if everything is on fire, your presence soothes the air. You become the one people come to in crisis, not because you fix things, but because you remind them they aren't broken. You become the mirror they forgot they needed. That's what it means to stay centered when the world tries to break you. Not to avoid storms, but to become the calm they orbit around. Now, I thought that was the end of the journey, but I was wrong. Because 3 days after that dream, I received a letter, hand-delivered, no return address. Inside was a map, not just any map, but one that didn't exist on Earth. At least, not as we know it. And what it led me to? It was the greatest spiritual secret I've ever encountered. And in the next part, I'm going to take you there. The secret temple that appears only to the spiritually ready. The letter felt ancient, handwritten in a script I couldn't identify. The paper was soft like petals, yet it didn't tear when I held it. The map inside was even stranger. It didn't show countries or roads. It showed emotions, pain, joy, loss. It was a map of the inner world. And when I ran my fingers over it, a pulse of heat traveled into my chest, like it recognized me. At the center of the map was a single phrase. To those who've died before they were buried, your temple awaits. Chills ran down my spine. This wasn't just a message. It was a summons. I followed the map, not across continents, but through my own consciousness. It led me to a place I thought I had healed long ago. Childhood memories I buried. Betrayals I never forgave. Dreams I gave up on because the world told me they were too much. The deeper I went, the more the map changed. It responded to my healing. Every insight, every surrendered grudge, made the path clearer. Until finally, I found it. I was on a quiet hillside, just after sunset. No signs, no gates, but I felt it, like standing on a ley line of ancient power. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, the air shimmered. And there it was. The temple. Not made of stone, but of light and sound. Walls that whispered, floors that hummed. Symbols floated in the air, rearranging themselves like living scriptures. This temple didn't appear on any map, because it wasn't meant for tourists. It reveals itself only to those who've faced the world's attempts to break them, and chose to rise instead. Inside, there were no monks, no incense, just truth. and in the center of the room was a mirror. But this time, unlike the river, it didn't reflect my face. It reflected every version of me, past, present, and future, merging into one. I felt on my knees, not from fear, but reverence. Then I heard it again, that voice I'd come to recognize as the guardian of my soul. This is the place where broken things remember they were never broken. I couldn't breathe for a moment. My heart cracked open. Because I finally understood. Every breakdown, every betrayal, every sleepless night, it had led me here, not to destroy me, but to deliver me. And now I deliver this to you. Because if you're watching this, then you've already started the path. You've survived things others couldn't. You've carried weight that no one else saw. You've smiled when you were crumbling. You've hoped when it would have been easier to shut down. And that makes you ready. But here's the wildest part. In that temple, I received a final gift. A small cube of light hovered in front of me. And when I touched it, memories poured in. Not mine, but ours. A collective remembering of all who've walked this path before, ancient mystics, warriors of the heart, shamans, artists, empaths, healers, you, me, all of us. And the message was simple. The world needs your center, now. Because what if staying centered isn't just for you? What if it's how you light the path for others? Think about that. What if every time you refuse to break, you send out a signal into the world, a spiritual flare, that says, you're not alone. You can survive this too. That's why this journey matters. That's why you matter. Because while the world screams louder every day, while chaos, comparison, fear, and anger rise like a flood, you are building an ark, inside yourself, an unshakable stillness that not only keeps you afloat, but starts to carry others too. You want to change the world? Stay centered when it tries to break you. You want to become truly powerful? Hold your peace when others throw fire. You want to awaken? Start by returning. Not to a place, but to your truth. Because that's where the real power lives. Not in resisting pain, but in transcending it. And that's the spiritual secret no one tells you. You don't become unshakable by avoiding the storm. You become unshakable by becoming the storm's calm. So now I ask you. When everything falls apart again, will you remember who you are? Not your name. Not your job, not your roles, but your essence. Because that's what can't be broken. That's what the world is afraid of you discovering. That's why it tries to distract you, numb you, divide you. Because if you ever really remembered who you are, you'd be unstoppable. And now you do remember. So this is your challenge. The next time life hits you with something unfair, breathe, go still, return to the river, the dream, the temple. Say to yourself, this is not the end of me, this is the becoming of me. And then watch, as the very thing that tried to destroy you, becomes the thing that awakens you. That's how we rise. Not by being harder, but by being deeper. And I want you to promise me something, right here, right now. In the comments, out loud, in your journal, wherever. Say it with me. I will not be broken by this world. I will remember who I am. Say it again. Let it echo in your chest. Because you didn't come here to play small. You came here to light up the dark. And now you know how. This is your calling. Not to avoid pain, but to turn pain into power. Not to escape the chaos, but to be the peace inside it. You are the storm's calm. You are the dreamer who doesn't forget. You are the seeker who found. And you are ready. So go. Be the mirror that reminds others they're not broken. Be the temple that appears when someone is finally ready to awaken. Be the center that never moves. And remember, the world may try to break you, but it will fail. Because now you've remembered who you are. You just completed a journey 99% of people will never take in their lifetime. You didn't just watch a video. You answered a calling. So share this. Comment your breakthrough. Make someone else's storm a little lighter. And never forget. The most powerful people in the world aren't loud. They're centered. And now, so are you.